welcome to Last Match Standing, the podcast where we review, relive, and rank the 100 greatest wrestling matches of all time. As always, I'm Spencer.
I'm the Tiger Driver.
And I'm Japanese Andre.
And today we are coming at you with episode 62 from June 3rd, 1994 in the historic Budokan Hall in Tokyo, Japan for All Japan Pro Wrestling Super Power Series 1994. It's Mitsuharu Misawa versus Toshiaki Kawada, and it is a Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship match.
Finally, we're doing an All Japan match.
I know, right? I'm so excited.
I am so stoked. We have been talking about this for so long, and we've had so many people reach out to us saying, why have you not covered All Japan?
And let me tell you something. If we're going to start with a match from All Japan, this is the match to start with.
I mean, just anything with Misawa in it, you gotta watch.
Hands down, this was a must-do to cover on a podcast that claims to cover the 100 greatest wrestling matches of all time.
Trademarked.
We claim it. No one gave us that power. We gave it to ourselves, and this one feels like a match that absolutely validates that claim. I fully agree.
Yeah, I think so.
We just are coming off of our season 4 premiere just 2 weeks ago. Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 24. It was an emotional roller coaster.
Still crying.
Exactly. We had a lot of fun covering that emotional ride. And let me tell you something. This story here today could be equally as emotional.
100%.
It's pretty freaking intense.
I could not think of two better matches to kick off season 4.
Totally agree.
I can't think of a better crowd than this show.
This crowd, seriously, guys.
Okay. I just gotta say this right now because this match is about 35 plus minutes long.
35-50.
This crowd is at a fever pitch from before the announcement, before Misawa even hands the belt to the ref. Fever pitch. They never dip below at 8.5.
It makes me want to go back to 1994 and be in that crowd.
I feel very much after watching this match multiple times that this crowd level is on the same level and rivals those crowds that we've talked about that have been so historic and beneficial, like Canadian Stampede.
Canadian Stampede, WrestleMania 18. Like, oh my
it gives those crowds a run for their money.
Absolutely.
Really easily.
And this is the Japanese crowd who were traditionally not known for getting that loud.
Exactly.
And boy, do I love watching people watch wrestling in the front row wearing suits. It's just the best.
I love it.
It's the best. Before we get going with this historic match, I do want to remind everyone, if you want to interact with us on Twitter or Facebook, you can do that at Last Matchcast. This is a match that was part of a Twitter poll, and so you could have a say in the matches that we cover based off of our Twitter poll. So absolutely find us there. You can also find us on Patreon to get some awesome extra content there. Last Mania Standing, Welcome to the Elite, Last Trivia Standing as well. And you get an extra vote in our Twitter polls just for being a patron.
This one.
Like this one, absolutely. And let me tell you something. The Patreon polls have absolutely swayed the Twitter polls in some instances.
Okay, so this match was like tied with another one. But you go to the Patreon poll, and it was like 80%.
Yeah,
it was really a landslide.
It was really
absolutely
neat.
And there are a lot of different tier levels that you can join at. I think there's a $1 tier, a $5 tier that unlocks additional content for you. At a $20 tier if you want to interact and be on the show. But at any of those tiers, you can get your extra vote.
You can smack down your vote, ladies and gentlemen.
You can also find all of our content from our main feed on YouTube. Definitely hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us there. That's a lot of fun for us as well.
And don't forget to the bell icon to get notification of new episodes.
And you can email us at lastmatchstanding@gmail.com if you have any feedback, positive, negative, correction corner that we do every single week.
Oh, we love those.
Or you want to tell us that Mike Kyoto's never been on the podcast before. Or if you have any match suggestions, we would love to hear those as well.
Who the hell is Mike Kyoto?
Never heard of him. So I think that takes care of all of my housekeeping. That sounds good.
Got it. Or if you want to tell me how Brian Clark is still alive, reach out to us at lastmatchstanding@gmail.com.
Oh, no. Oh,
I still get I get DM'd about that every now and then.
Well,
I've been DM'd
be
about
damn sure when you say somebody's dead.
I thought he was, damn it. Look, Brian Adams and Brian Clark look very similar.
So I do want to say, normally at the beginning of the episodes, we talk about the name of the commentators and the referee. Unfortunately, I had no success in finding their names on the interwebs, but I will tell you they both did a commendable job. Commentary and referee really, really spot on, and were a lot of fun to watch and listen to. So
I never knew that there was a Japanese Andre the Giant until I heard this commentary for this match.
I'm pretty sure he's wearing a mask.
Maybe so.
Because he just sounds muffled and nasally. I think he's wearing a mask.
Exactly like Andre.
The ref's left-handed count, I thought, was
nice.
awfully impressive. Just
very impressive.
A thought.
He clearly didn't go to Catholic school.
So this is it. All Japan Pro Wrestling, also known simply as All Japan. Did you know AJPW was created by Japanese wrestling sensation Giant Baba on October 21st, 1972, when Baba split away from the Japanese Wrestling Association. From the mid-70s, All Japan used many of the old JWA stars to establish itself as the largest promotion in Japan.
Okay, so I knew that Baba started. I just didn't know the year or why.
That was it. And guys, go ahead and strap in, because on the season 3 finale episode, one of the things that the listeners gave back to us as part of a huge feedback survey was they really missed like the deep dive, history lessons from our older episodes. So kind of sit back, relax. I've got a good story for you for this one, and this match is the perfect one to sort of really kind of go into the history of All Japan and how we got here.
We should get a theme for this and just go story time with Len.
Story time. Here we go. With Giant Baba taking the helm, AJPW would form important partnerships with the NWA to secure its international popularity, and it even filled its cards with such names as Dory and Terry Funk, Bruno Sammartino, and Freddie Blassie.
I'm sorry, you said Terry Funk? I think Terry Funk's with us right now.
Yes, guys, I'm here for All Japan Pro Wrestling. I was good friends with Giant Baba, and I was very happy to be invited to do all the different shows, and I wish Baba was still with us, but unfortunately not. But I just want to say thanks for the shout-out, you guys. I like your show, and I'm happy to be a part of your list.
Landon, back to you.
You know what? That was another one of the things that popped up in the survey is people asked us to have more guests on the show. So thank you, Terry. Thank you so much for stopping by.
I can't believe what a legend for us to
You're
get.
welcome, guys. I got to go back to the double cross ranch because Cooter Brown's being a bad dog.
I love you, Paul. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Baba.
I love Terry Funk, too.
I do, too. Thank you. Thank God for Terry Funk. Baba established the Pacific Wrestling Federation to be the governing body for all championship titles defended in All Japan, similar to the International Wrestling Grand Prix, or IWGP, for New Japan. In 1989, the PWF Championship was unified with the NWA International Heavyweight Championship and the NWA Unified National Championship into the beautiful Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship when Jumbo Tsuruta defeated Stan Hansen.
Oof. That was probably a fucking
Stan
match.
Hansen.
Stan
God bless
the man.
Texas.
The Lariat himself.
His celebration, however, was short-lived as he would lose the belt 6 weeks later to the incomparable Genichiro Tenryu.
Tenryu!
Absolute legend. As the 90s began, a new generation of wrestlers began to pave the way for a new generation, including Mitsuharu Misawa, Kenta Kobashi, Toshiaki Kawada, and Akira Toei.
Not a good one in the bunch.
Yeah.
These four would go on to be known as the four pillars of AJPW.
And I got to say, I have been waiting so long to talk about the four pillars.
Here we are.
We got two of them in one match.
We got two of them. So here's the story. Mitsuharu Misawa is one of the most influential professional wrestlers of his generation. Along with the other pillars, he is credited with developing the Odo style of Puroresu, also known as King's Road. essentially King's Road takes a storytelling approach to pro wrestling in contrast to the strong style catch wrestling. Spencer, you're looking at me like totally like you're like this kid in story time. Like this is the best.
Well, I do my fair share of research before these matches, but no one does our retrospectives as well as you do. And I just, you just really struck a chord with me because going back to last week's episode, storytelling, right? Like, it is absolutely such a difference maker between that strong style versus a more storytelling, form of wrestling. And I think it's monumental, that change there.
And then, King's Road, we're definitely going to see some more stuff like this. Like, I think you're really going to like King's Road style. It's so fucking awesome.
It is. And you know what? American wrestling does this, right? American wrestling is so much more based on the storytelling than it is like the hard-hitting style that you see with the strong style that people call it. But King's Road puts more of a focus on telling the stories during their matches, whereas in American wrestling, they do the strong storytelling element, through like backstage promos and gimmicks and that sort of thing.
And then they go have a wrestling match.
That's the main difference. So these matches, the match we're reviewing today is regarded by many to be one of the most prominent King's Road matches in the history of the style.
Oh, absolutely. Especially after you've done that second or third watch, you're like, oh, okay. I really see what's going on here.
Misawa's stylistic influence on American independent wrestling is significant, despite never wrestling a single match on U.S. soil. This is, of course, thanks to the lost art of tape trading. I mean, we had an excellent time on the
and now whatever podcast, the Tape Trader Diary
Absolutely.
series. We did our last tape standing. That was a ton of fun.
I'm just waiting for Last Tape Standing 2 Electric Boogaloo.
And that was the whole deal with Misawa, is everyone would see the style of wrestling that he and the other pillars were doing in All Japan because of the tape trading. So Misawa was a fan of professional wrestling from a very young age, developing his agility through gymnastics before concentrating on amateur wrestling. He wanted to quit school several times before Jumbo Tsuruta encouraged him to finish high school while build up your amateur wrestling chops. Although a successful amateur wrestler, Misawa disliked it immensely and was later just focused on joining the AJPW training camp as soon as he could. In 1981, he did just that. Early in his career, Misawa reached the finals of the Lou Thez Cup in a match that was refereed by Thez himself.
Oh, man.
Wow.
This was Misawa's very first televised match, and the stakes were high.
Yeah.
The winner of this match was to be sent on excursion. And although he lost, Baba was so impressed that he decided to send him and the person that he beat, who was Samurai Shiro, by the way. He arrived in EMLL as Kamikaze Misawa, along with the man whom he beat for the Thez Cup, Samurai Shiro. While there, he sort of refined aerial skills into his repertoire, but as soon as he mastered the technique of, and I quote, jumping from the corner post, Baba called him back. He said, I just need you to learn this one thing, and then you can come back. So that's exactly what happened. Waiting for him upon his return to All Japan was the legendary mask once worn by Satoru Sayama. Misawa was to become the second generation Tiger Mask.
Oh.
Although Misawa preferred a ground-based style, he would continue to carry on the legacy of Tiger Mask with grace, even inventing his own variation on the Tiger Suplex, the Tiger Suplex 85, which is the half chicken wing, half Nelson suplex that we can never figure out what the hell to call it.
He does it in this match.
It's a Tiger Suplex 85. As Tiger Mask, Misawa would go on to have many legendary matches with guys such as the original Tiger Mask foes Dynamite Kid and Kuniaki Kobayashi, but later Chavo Guerrero Sr., Ric Flair, Kurt Hennig, Ricky Steamboat, and even Bret Hart, whom he wrestled to a time limit draw.
And I bet those matches were all terrible.
After the departure of Genichiro Tenryu from All Japan in 1990, Baba was in search of a new star, and he knew it was Misawa's time. Misawa unmasked mid-match in May 1990 and began a rivalry with his childhood hero and AJPW's ace, Jumbo Tsuruta, the same man who encouraged him to become an amateur pro wrestler first. Misawa was cemented as AJPW's ace when he won the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship from Stan Hansen in August 1992 and held it for the longest reign in the title's history. Misawa remained atop the company throughout the 1990s. Let's talk about Toshiaki Kawada. Kawada is considered by many experts across the industry to have created some of the greatest wrestling matches of all time alongside peers Mitsuharu Misawa, Jun Akiyama, and Kenta Kobashi. Kawada is known for his extremely stiff wrestling style in martial arts strikes, which earned him the nickname Dangerous K. Yeah, I guess you didn't notice that watching this match, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't notice the broken noses, the bleeding from the ears, or the broken fingers. I didn't notice any of that.
Oh, it's such a good match. He also has the distinction of having competed in 17 matches that were given the 5-star rating from none other than Dave Meltzer. He also won a 6-star.
Speaking of God.
You beat me for 1 second.
Mitsuharu Misawa, by the way, holds the record for the most individual 5-star matches with 25.
Oh, jeez.
Kawada is a very active during his high school years as an amateur wrestler, becoming a national champion in his senior year after defeating Keiichi Yamada. Anybody remember that name? That name should ring a bell.
The Pillars?
Nope.
It's the guy that's...
Keiichi Yamada. Paul, don't embarrass yourself.
That's why I'm looking at the timestamp so we can edit that part out.
No, we're not going to edit that part out. You didn't know who it was.
How dare you, sir?
I think you have to transfer the last match standing championship belt now, actually. I think that's how that works.
It's in my trunk and it's going to stay in there.
Kawada won the national championship as a senior from Keiichi Yamada, who would later become Jushin Thunder Liger.
I want to punch myself in the face
as
for
you
not
should.
knowing that.
Kawada attended Ashikaga University High School, which happened to be the same high school as Misawa, who was 1 year Kawada's senior. While in high school, he was invited to try out for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but his mother convinced him to finish high school first, and by that point, his close friend Misawa had already joined All Japan. So needless to say, that's where he landed. That's where he ended up. Making his debut for All Japan in 1982, Kawada was sent on excursion to North America in 1985. Misawa, meanwhile, competed as Tiger Mask in All Japan, so you see kind of the linear timelines going on. Although he wrestled for prominent promotions such as Texas All-Star Wrestling and Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling, Kawada does not look back fondly on his time spent in America and rarely speaks about his experience there. His first major break came upon his return to All Japan in 1987 when he joined his mentor Genichiro Tenryu's Revolution group. Kawada was paired with former rival Hiromichi Fuyuki, forming the tag team known as Footloose. In the summer of 1990, after Tenryu and a number of All Japan wrestlers left the promotion to join Tenryu's newly formed Super World of Sports, Kawada became Mitsuharu Misawa's main partner, joining him in his historic campaign against Jumbo Tsuruta. This feud would elevate Kawada to the Triple Crown Championship scene, and he would have standout matches with Stan Hansen and his partner Misawa himself in 1992. In early 93, after it became apparent that Jumbo Tsuruta's days as a competitive wrestler were long behind him, All Japan promoter Giant Baba asked Kawada to form a tag team with his rival Akira Toei. Kawada agreed, signaling the end of his alliance with Misawa. With their newly formed team named the Holy Demon Army, they successfully captured and defended the World Tag Team Championships against Misawa and Kenta Kobashi on June 1st, 1993, in a match that Baba, at the time, regarded as the greatest match he'd ever seen. It was the first of 9 legendary matches between both sides, and Kawada would hold the World Tag Team Championship with Toei 6 times. Kawada's greatest achievement to that point came when he won the 1994 Champion Carnival by defeating Steve Williams on April 16th, 1994, earning Kawada the right to challenge Mitsuharu Misawa for the Triple Crown on June 3rd, 1994.
And here we are.
Only took me 20 minutes, guys.
That's pretty good.
No, it was like 10.
And I really liked it. I really liked that a lot. I mean, this is, especially being our first All Japan match, I thought that was an incredibly well done intro, and I think it's an important one. If you're a listener that has no All Japan background, I hope that helped, and I hope that by us talking through the importance of the background going into this match, it gives you some interest in it, and we implore you to go watch this match.
Oh dear, yes,
absolutely. So at this point, we are going to get into a detailed play-by-play of the match. If you have not seen it, do yourself a favor and go watch this. It absolutely is one of the greatest matches of all time.
We will post it on Twitter. It's on YouTube in its entirety. The video is about 40 minutes long. It goes by in a breeze.
It does.
Yeah. The match itself, 35 minutes, 50 seconds, but fun action from beginning to end.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
From go to woe. Gentlemen, first off, we got streamers, baby.
Oh, yeah.
What do we love a streamer? Boy, do
them.
we love a streamer.
The bell rings, and everybody freaks the fuck out. I have never heard a Japanese crowd this hot. Not even close, but even the announce team.
They are screaming. They are
screaming.
so happy for this.
Think this match is a big deal?
No, not at all.
Kawada starts the match off, getting Misawa onto the ropes, and right out the gate, clean break. Respect right at the top. I mean, it's beautiful to see. Obviously, former tag team partners going into this thing.
They kind of know, okay, I know his game, he knows my game, we got to play this a certain way. And that's pretty much evidenced by the fact that Misawa is able to immediately kind of dodge a really big roundhouse kick. Because he knows it's coming.
Kawada's kicks are huge. He kind of shows it off early. That beautiful rolling kick. I'm not even sure what to call it.
Wheel kick is beautiful. He damn near knocks out Misawa. Like, this match just started and he's like out.
Kawada early on establishes his dominance in this match.
Fucking kicks, man.
It's incredible. Toshiaki Kawada goes to the outside at this point. So Misawa decides to bait him in by flipping over the top onto the apron and then back inside before hitting the baseball slide.
Well, remember, he like skins the cat into the baseball slide.
I mean, it's just beautiful.
It is a thing of beauty. I watched him go, how did he do that?
And then immediately after this, he goes for a dive, but gets clocked on the way down by Kawada. Masterful. And we're talking this is only 5 minutes in.
Oh, man. Like, not even. So, we got to talk about this because Misawa does what I could only call a back suplex brain buster.
Yeah?
And I'm like, dear God. And then I call it a Fujiwara armbar. It's not really a Fujiwara armbar. It's just more like kind of, it's the Japanese armbar. And I'm watching him do it. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. And then there's just these forearm shots and these drop kicks. And at that point, I looked over to Jen and I said, I think we're watching an MMA match.
It does come off like that at times. Once they get back into the ring, Kawada has sort of the first bit of control over Misawa. And Misawa is leaning up against the ropes, and Kawada just starts kicking him in the side of the head against the ropes.
He is bleeding from the ears after this exchange.
And you know what? This is just tells you how much wrestling I've watched and how much JR I've listened to. As soon as that happened, I just could hear JR in my ear saying, oh, his equilibrium.
That's it.
That's all I kept thinking about.
There's a couple moments where I could hear, will somebody stop the damn match? Enough is enough. He can't even stand up anymore. There's a point where you see Misawa is like struggling to get to. This is we're going to be jumping back and forth a lot. He is just struggling to stand up, and he's bleeding from the ear. I'm pretty sure he's got a broken nose at one point because he is just struggling. I can just hear JR screaming.
Kawada pulls back the leg into a half crab and just starts standing on Misawa's head.
Yeah,
while putting him in the half.
Like fucking lion tamer over here. Jesus, trying to kill him.
Brutal.
You know, Paul, you mentioned that that Misawa was having a tough time standing, right? Because he was just getting kicked in the head up against the ropes. But Misawa turns the tables on Kawada and tries to accomplish basically the same goal, where he targets Kawada's left knee.
He does.
He targets that left knee, and you know what? You can't
destroys it.
kick if you have no base.
And
right?
that does come into play later on, because there's a couple times he goes for a kick and he can't do it. He collapses. That fucking knee gives out on him.
But it is almost like every bit of offense that Misawa gets in, Kawada has an answer.
They both have answers, Landon.
Perfect example. Misawa is out on the mat. Kawada picks him up and fights back. Boom. Pops him with a flying front kick. Like, nothing he can do.
Knocked him out. I thought he was unconscious. I thought he was out. That's it. Match is over. He kicks out, but my good Lord, like, he was done. That kick knocked him the fuck out. I was convinced.
Did y'all see those chops from Kawada? Not like your traditional chops. I'm talking like karate chops.
To the fucking forehead? Yes, it did.
I mean,
and the side of the neck. Yeah.
It's like open. It's an open fist attack. So it's totally legal. I've just never seen anything like that in a wrestling match.
Yeah. I see it in wrestling video games, but you don't ever see it like actually happen. So there's one thing I do to point out, because we mentioned Misawa's target of the left knee. Misawa does the Indian deathlock, and he does the old school where he locks it in and then falls back and wrenches it. I'm like, yes, break his leg.
Oh no!
But it's absolutely creative submission maneuvers, right? He's doing an incredible job of targeting Kawada's legs, and it's a brutal scene, right? Something that I love about this match is not only do the strikes look stiff, the submissions look stiff too.
Oh, they're scary. They're downright frightening.
And so we actually get to this point now where we're venturing towards that 15-minute mark, and I can hear the crowd chanting Kawada's name.
Yep.
And I think that's so interesting because...
Why is the heel getting cheered so much?
At this point, Misawa is the ace, right? He's the Triple Crown champion. He's the guy that's at the top of the mountain. And so this story is Kawada, is it his time? You know, is it his chance to take over that title of ace, right?
Yeah.
And the crowd is behind it.
You can just feel it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, wow. It's like they're not even doing anything right here. You can just feel what's going on.
I could feel a lot of things in this match. Kawada sets up a power bomb, but Misawa kneels out of it. Yep. What an inventive way to escape the power bomb.
You can't pick me up if you're deadlift me off the ground.
All
like that.
You have to do is kneel. I haven't seen that a whole bunch. But, of course, after he kneels, Kawada's just like, okay, well, if you're just going to kneel there, kicks him in the head.
Oh, okay. There's one point I want to talk about. So
it's like Kawada looks like the veteran in this match.
Yeah, he kicks him in the head. And there's one point where he does that. He does a second rope knee drop to the back of Misawa's head at one point, and I'm just like, okay, that's just getting disgusting. But like, I mean, I know it's pro wrestling, and I know they're being safe, but there are moments in matches like this where it's really hard to tell if these guys are legitimately trying to hurt each other.
But what I love, Paul, is that because of that, we're halfway through the match, and I can't tell you who I think's going to win.
Exactly.
Absolutely
it's
not.
So back and forth.
I was pretty much like, once that first really big near fall happens, I was like, all right, edge of my seat the entire time, because I don't know what's going to happen. This match is from 1994. I have no fucking clue who's going to win, and I was invested.
We're about halfway through the match at this point, and they are just trading forearms in the center of the ring, one of which catches Misawa square in the ear. And it's at this point, Paul, that Misawa's ear does start to bleed. It was from one of those forearms.
Oh, it's disgusting, because
it's really scary to look at.
It's like already starting to cauliflower up, and it's like, oh man, this is rough.
Misawa goes for a spinning heel kick, and it's caught, but he raises his other leg and actually connects with Kawada, creating the opening he desperately needed at this point.
Yeah, it was just something to think.
And I mean, he sort of pulls back, right? He goes back into his catalog, and he tries for an old school double underhook tiger bomb, but no.
Nope.
Try, and so okay, let me try for the Tiger Suplex 85. He does. He lifts that arm over on the top, puts the other one in the chicken wing. No, gets out of it. These guys know each other so well. Eventually, he is able to hit the Tiger Bomb and gets a long 2 count.
Landon, I believe it's pronounced Tiger Bomb!
He does. Hey, streak continues.
We're starting off, baby, because there's 2 more that come after this.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
After Kawada kicks out, though, Misawa says, I've still got work to do. So he climbs to the top rope and he hits a frog splash. A frog splash on Kawada.
At which point, the commentary team loses their voices and their minds.
They start screaming.
And their voice is cracking at this point.
Oh yeah, and we're like, we still have plenty of time left too.
But that's not enough. It's not enough. Misawa goes for a crossbody off the top and gets caught on the way down. Kawada shows powerbomb, then pushes Misawa away for a slap. Talk about a mind game.
Kicks him
This
right in the
was
solar
not,
plexus,
mind
too.
you, this was not a reversal.
Nope.
This was a, I'm going to powerbomb you, psych, slap you in the face.
I love that. I love that because then he hits a teardrop suplex. That's I used to use,
point,
gentlemen.
The arena, the hall is shaking.
Yeah,
It's shaking.
Camera. You can see the camera shaking. It's insane.
The crowd is at its highest point as Misawa is able to kick out
I don't know
of the
how.
pinfall attempt after the powerbomb.
I don't know how. So Kawada, I feel like he knows he's got this because he hits not 1, but 2 enziguris and a German suplex. But that German suplex sends Misawa out of the ring. And I think that's the only reason why he didn't lose right here.
The German suplex after the teardrop, after the powerbomb, all of these things sort of high angle on the back and the neck of Misawa. Really brutal to watch. But, I mean, what a moment in this match, right? It absolutely looks like it's going Kawada's way. Misawa rolls out of the ring. And then, things start to shift yet again.
Well, when they get back in the ring, Kawada hits a second fucking powerbomb. That's 3. That's 3, gentlemen. We're so close to tying with Toyota and Hokuto for 4 powerbombs. Come on, I just need 1 more. But we don't get a 4th.
That constitutes the best match ever.
I know, right?
I don't say we don't get. I think we do get 1, Paul.
We get a Tiger Driver, but not another Tiger suplex.
I would argue with that. I think at this point, the noise makes a difference in this match.
It really does.
It absolutely does. Kawada stretches Misawa with an inverted dragon sleeper.
Oh my god! I thought he was going to kill him with this.
I thought the match was over.
Yeah.
Misawa looked out.
He looks in a really, really bad way for sure. It's almost like he could pass out at any time.
Oh my god!
And at this point, we talked earlier about the crowd chanting Kawada. It's at this point the crowd starts chanting Misawa, Misawa.
Dude, like at one point he puts it. It's insane. It's like a fucking bulldog choke abdominal stretch chicken wing. It's like, what? Dear God, he's gonna kill him.
Misawa has to dig down deep here. He does, and he hits a spinning elbow reminiscent of Tiger Mask. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. Followed by that spinning elbow to the back of Kawada's head.
And then he hits a German suplex, and then he hits a fucking Tiger suplex. And I was like, fuck, yes.
The Tiger suplex. Oh, such a moment.
We talked about them losing their shit for the Tiger Driver. When he does the Tiger suplex, you could just, I don't know the lead's name. I felt like he dropped his headset and just started screaming.
He did.
Tiger
He was
suplex.
fangirling. He was super fangirling, and I love him for it.
I'm like, that's it. Come on, 1. Oh, dear God, damn it, Kawada won't stay down.
It was a thing of beauty, but it was not enough.
Oh, I'm getting so excited just reliving this with you guys.
At this point, Kawada is running for the ropes, and in an attempt to create a separation, he does a rolling kick, and now Kawada gets the chance from the crowd back. It's like the crowd cannot decide who they want to cheer.
I know, and they just start trading shots that would kill lesser men, but not a heavenly pillar.
Well, and it feels like these rolling kicks are what almost resets the match again.
It does. Absolutely.
And so this match that, again, has been back and forth. We've thought multiple times that both men were going to win at some point. now it's almost back to a stalemate, and we're 32 minutes in.
I know.
A second rolling kick sends Misawa to the outside.
Oh.
Absolutely, like Spencer said, resetting the match at this point.
And I'm like, oh, please don't do the shortcut of brawling on the outside. They don't. They're kind of out there briefly. They get back in the ring, and god damn it, Misawa hits that fucking Tiger Driver.
Yeah, I mean, you can see while he's on the outside, Misawa, he's looking deep within himself, right? You could just look at his face. He's asking himself, what is it going to take? And Paul, that's what it takes. It takes the Tiger Driver.
Oh, and it's a very scary Tiger Driver.
He gets back in the ring. They trade blows. Misawa hits a picture-perfect spinning elbow.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Picks Kawada back up, hits another spinning elbow, picks him back up, shows powerbomb, but Kawada tries to go back to the well to reverse with a leg kick, but it's blocked. I mean, you do it one too many times, and they're going to figure it out.
I love that when he just gets his hands in and blocks it. I'm like, yes.
Misawa locks up the double underhooks, lifts Kawada up, and drops him vertically. And I swear, the impact of him being driven into the mat is the only thing that forces Kawada's neck to tuck in for a Tiger Bomb. Paul's going to call it a Tiger Driver.
It was beautiful.
To be honest with you, as a fan, it was incredible to see.
But I never want to see it ever again.
I never want to see it again.
Ever.
It just looked incredibly unsafe. And knowing what we know now about the health of Misawa and many others at the time, I'm very conflicted.
I'm pretty sure it was an accident.
I don't know what it was. I think I would have enjoyed it just as much had he been tucked and ready and just done the move safely.
I mean, it was very effective because it made a raucous crowd go even another level, and it was the end. It's the finish. That's how this match ends.
Yeah,
and
with him retaining.
And when you think of this match, that's the image that pops up in your mind.
Of course, it is.
You know, think about other matches on our list that are sort of memorable for moments that maybe didn't go perfectly. Trish and Lita. You know, the Lita dive through the ropes. There's moments like that maybe weren't on purpose, but they leave lasting images.
They do.
And they have an element to this match that they add that makes it almost immortal.
Yeah, and I think this is the kind of moment that it becomes a legacy moment.
It does. It does. And the thing is that this story, to me, is heartbreaker for Kawada.
Absolutely.
It is a heartbreaker to have that shot against Misawa and not be able to get it done.
And I gotta say, guys, so after I'm still gonna call it a Tiger Driver because I think this is kind of where moves like that came from. That looks really good. Now let's make it safer. So that is the finish of the match, and that is probably the hardest hitting match we've reviewed yet.
And we've reviewed Ishii and Suzuki.
Well, I put that up there because Shibata Ishii, Mike Awesome, Masato Tanaka. I mean,
that's a Shibata Ishii.
Yeah,
my bad.
like that was like I said, watch that one. That's the hardest hitting match I've ever seen. I think this is a harder hitting match.
I think
definitely
Ishii,
a longer
to be fair,
match.
I think Ishii and Suzuki is also pretty fucking
It
hard hitting.
was. The Mike Awesome Masato Tanaka match. They knocked like years of his lives in that match.
Oh yeah,
and this is a fucking war. So I'm very conflicted on where I want to rank it.
Well, let's do favorite moments first.
We will.
Let's do favorite moments. There's so many to choose from.
A lot
in this moment, right? I think for me, I really loved the Indian Deathlock. I loved the submission moves throughout the match because they weren't your standard single leg crab. It was a single leg crab while I'm stepping on your skull.
Yeah, super
it was
high angle,
really intense submissions, and I really appreciated that.
Misawa hitting the tiger suplex.
Yeah.
Going back
moment.
to those tiger mask roots. I just loved it.
I did love the frog splash a whole lot as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Paul, favorite?
It's a silly one, but when he does the front flip over the ropes and then skins the cat into the baseball slide, I fucking love that shit.
I really loved that because it was a bait and switch.
Yeah.
It was so genius.
That was just like one of those, he's going to do a fucking suicide dive. Nope. Backflip. And then he does a baseball slide. I love that stuff.
So perfect.
Anytime somebody subverts your expectations, I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's just smart.
It's really smart. And that was early on in the match, too. So you're kind of expecting him to do a big move like that to get the crowd up, but they didn't need to. The crowd was already at a fucking 11. They stayed at a goddamn 11. They went to a 12.
You're staying at 11.
I love this match. Oh,
But how much do you love it?
Let's
is
talk
the
about
question.
it. Let's talk about it.
Is the question.
Let's
Because
talk about it.
segues.
it's time.
All right. For Paul's scientific method, ladies and
For
gentlemen.
the second time this season, the 62nd time overall, we have to rank this match against 61
All right.
others.
62nd time. We only have 60 seconds to do this.
That's it, Paul. You heard that?
Okay,
60 seconds, buddy.
I got 60 seconds. Okay, you ready for this? Okay, commentary. 10 out of 10. Fuck that. 11 out of 11. I couldn't understand them, but passion translates through any and all languages.
Also, Japanese Andre.
Yes, Japanese Andre. Okay, the in-ring. It's a slower, more methodical style, highlighted by just vicious shots, suplexes. Not my favorite style to watch, but the crowd stays at a fever pitch for 35 minutes.
And 50 seconds.
And that says something. Nearly 36 minutes. Okay, much like last time, their chemistry absolutely bleeds through not only my screen, but the 26 years that have elapsed since this match occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Chemistry. Oh my God. I was convinced these two wanted to hurt each other legitimately. Psychology. King's Road. I don't know what to say other than just King's Road. These two, you get the feeling watching them, they knew what they were going to do before. Like, they don't talk. There's a couple of nods. There's exchanges. I watched this match looking for talking. They don't. Because there's not a whole lot of lockup and headlocks.
Yeah.
It's just they fight.
Yeah.
And you believe it.
Yeah.
So I understand why this match was recommended so heavily.
Thank you.
And yes. And the minute the words King's Road were uttered by us off mic, I knew that this match was going to be something special.
For sure.
And I'm so happy that we were able to talk about it, and I cannot wait to talk about more of these.
There's a legacy that's associated with
King's
those
Road.
words.
Yes.
So, Paul,
Aptly
that
put.
being said,
Okay.
where do you rank it?
This one is going to be a little tricky. So I compared it to Awesome Tanaka. It is far and away superior to that match. I compared it to Shibata Ishii. It hits much harder. They tell a very different story, and the stakes alone, I think, put it above that match. Do you want to know where I kind of have a difficult time? Is when you get up into the mid-teens, when you get around the Tiger Mask Dynamite kids and the John Cena versus Shawn Michaels and
Right.
the Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr.'s. That is where I'm having the hardest time because I know it needs to be in that, let's say, 19 to 14 range, somewhere in there.
Paul, I'm so glad that you walked us up to there. Let me go ahead and take it from you right
Like,
here.
I can't get a definite number.
Let me take
That's
it from
my
you right
range.
here because I know exactly where you're struggling, and that's exactly where I'm struggling.
It's hard. It's really,
because
really hard.
so that's exactly where I am. It's between 14 and 13, and the reason
I almost want to put this up there with Hokuto and Kandori.
the reason being is so for me this match is a showcase of the pillars of professional wrestling in all Japan and in Japan as a whole and in pro wrestling as a whole. And if I have to look at another match on here that features pillars of North American wrestling, pillars of American wrestling, pillars of TNA, we're looking at AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe. And I feel like that match accomplishes a very, very similar of idea of what this match does.
I think so too.
It's really, really showcasing the best of the best of the best, and sort of just lays the foundation for this is what pro wrestling should be. And you know what? Does it go beyond that one? I
don't know.
I don't know.
I am going to pick up from where you left off because you just said that AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe match is what professional wrestling is supposed to be. Another match that tries to do exactly that is the one right above it at 12, Samoa Joe, CM Punk. Right? Yeah. They're trying to show the world, Ring of Honor, this is what we do.
It's exactly what that match is all about.
Is going to be. That's what this match does. I put it at 12. I put it right above Samoa Joe, CM Punk for that exact reason, because they're doing the same thing Samoa Joe, CM Punk are doing, and they're doing it 15 years before.
Yeah.
And they are they're laying the claim. This is professional wrestling, and no one does it better than we do. And the story they tell on top of that, on top of just not only are we damn good, but we're going to tell you this incredible story.
And they do.
We're going to tell you this heartbreaking. Kawada's not going to get the job done. Misawa is going to be the ace, and he's going to be a champion that everyone respects. The story that we're telling is one that will stand the test of time.
I have absolute goosebumps right now.
I do too. Like, I'm like,
Absolutely. At 12. It has to be 12.
12. Yeah, 12.
12 is where I started. When you guys started talking your conversation, I was really concerned. I was like, I didn't want to be the one that was way up if you guys were way down.
I was scared that I was going to be too high. I was like, man, when I started naming, like, oh yeah, man, like Tiger Mask and Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. And then I even said I almost put this in the fucking top 10. I was so close.
It's right up there.
It really is.
I'm really interested. Everyone who either has or has not seen this match, if you haven't seen it, go watch it right now. And if you have seen it, please let us know where you would rank this match, because I'm just blown away by what these men were able to do.
Yes,
I can't wait to see what else. I can't wait to see Akira, and I can't wait to see Kenta Kobashi. I can't wait to see all of the matches that these guys were able to put together in the 90s. I mean, this is just incredible stuff.
Couldn't agree more. And with all three of us landing in the same spot, I think there's a really great opportunity here to get some more perspective. So we were lucky enough to get a clip sent in from one of our listeners who is super, super knowledgeable in this area of Japanese wrestling, and that is Deadly Pudding on Twitter. Such a great friend of ours. He sent in a great, great clip, and we'd love for you to hear it right now.
Misawa versus Kawada 6-3-94 is King's Road. There are so many little things in this match, such as the long-term rivalry that we could talk about between Misawa and Kawada stemming from their time in high school together. Or we could talk about the other long-term details, Kawada's left knee injury, Misawa's rolling elbow strike. But what makes this match special is that it is King's Road personified. Everything about the slow pace of the match, the reliance on big moves, heavy strikes, and even some of the dangerous spots you see with the neck bumps that Misawa and at the end of the match Kawada takes. This is King's Road personified. This match is definitely rank 5 for me. It gets a little slow at points, but it is rank 5 for the rivalry alone. Thank you guys so much for asking me for this. In peace.
And what a phenomenal start to our season 4.
Oh, man.
These last two matches, I mean, as deserving as anything on our list so far.
I feel like we're getting to a point now in the ranking process where I think we're only going to get like just grand slams like this for going forward.
Yeah, and there's a lot more out there. And thank you to everybody that voted on the poll, the Twitter poll for this match. You guys earned this match, and you guys put it on this list. And so thanks for the suggestion. Thanks for the voting. A really incredible job, an incredible match, and one that I won't ever forget, really. Oh, no. This match is one of those.
I might watch it again tonight.
There you go. Man, and we've got a couple of really good ones to come
right?
Episode 63 in a couple of weeks is going to be another one that may be unexpected, but will be one that stands the test of time as well. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so be ready for that one. I know I can't wait. I guess until next time, I'm Spencer.
I'm Paul.
I'm Landon.
And this is
Last Match Standing.
That was fucking great.